Alright, cool. Make sure we're all good here. Cool. Alright. Let's go, boys. We back. I gotta turn, hang on, actually, wait a minute. Here we go. We back. We out here, boys. Are y'all ready to learn how to beat green? Are y'all ready to learn how to stick into these green players? I know I am. And I say that as a green player. Give it a moment for people to hop in here, as per the norm. We got a lot of cards to go over today. I got like a bunch of different categories for stuff you can use to beat green. So we're gonna approach this from all angles. I'll make sure that you, I'll make sure that you, regardless of what deck you're playing, always have an answer to beat these green decks. Green, absolute balance, which is not what green is. And I'm gonna say this right now because I know there's gonna be that one guy, either in the comments of this stream or in like the comments of the video version of this, whenever it comes out, who's like, actually, Bounce Man, green is not that good in CDH, therefore it's balanced. Yeah, like I don't know that. No one says green is OP in reference to CDH. I know that. Green is only broken in casual and becomes like medium to good in CDH. I know that. The issue is in casual. That's the issue. So before anyone says it, yes, I know that green gets weaker in higher tiers and blue gets stronger in higher tiers. I'm aware. I know that, but most people agree that green is broken and casual. How we doing today, y'all? We doing good today? Y'all having a good Saturday morning, afternoon? I guess afternoon now. Fuck green. Fuck green. Exactly. The correct take. The sensible take. Hearing stuff break over here. Early morning fog green. Okay. Yeah, I got a whole Moxfield package here that we're gonna go over. I'll drop a link to the package at the end of the stream and probably in the comments of the stream as well. I'll post it on the channel as well in the community tab. It's also just on my Moxfield page, but don't go there yet. Don't spoil it for you. Just build Coma Commander deck to what? Build Coma to what? Beat green? You're playing green then. That defeats the purpose. I have what? I have 86 cards in this package, bro. Green sucks. Ramp is useless. I'd rather play white life gain sorceries. Just play Grixis to counter. Oh, dude, that's a fun. You know what's funny? I already do that with Nekusar. It still doesn't work. You gotta cast Whirlfire. Just play blue. Oh yeah? What am I gonna do? Counter a Mistcutter Hydra? Like, okay, people just say like, oh yeah, just counterspell a green player out. As if the blue player just won't run out of counterspell at some point. Also, green just has a lot of like broken, just like free hexproof stuff that can't be really targeted. Like, bro, green had freaking, what was it? Carnage Tyrant, in standard for so long. Winter orbits for their people. Hello? Judge? Game changer? Kill him? Public execution. I'm gonna finish this bottle of water off. Very good. Anyways, chat. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to learn the best ways, the best angles, and the best cards to beat green? Opposition agent, you're so right. I have it in here, right? I do, okay. So, before we begin, get two things up. Can you get two things out of the way here? All right. One, before then CDH players come in here and say, actually, green is medium in CDH and blue's best there. We know that. We know. All right. No one says green is OP in the context of CDH. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. Nobody says that. Nobody has that idea. All right. Second of all, I forgot. Oh, I remember now. There's a good chance that if this is your first time seeing me in my content, you think, Bounce Man's just some like hardcore blue player who hates green because he can't beat the green decks. Wrong. I legit can't stop playing green. It's like the Toxic X I keep going back to. It's too good. I can't stop playing it. Matter of fact, what do I even have right now for like my IRL decks? I'm pretty sure they're like almost all green. Hang on. Oh yeah, dude. Look at this. Okay, so these are all my IRL lists I'm playing right now, alright? So I have Mono Black Zombies, Atraxa Planeswalkers, which has green. I have Blue White Urza that honestly I haven't played in a long time and I'll probably get disbanded at some point. I have Galanra and Kodama. This list is fucked up and this list isn't even like fully optimized, dude. It's just like mono green like Stompy. I have Emodi Eldrazi, of course. Nakara and Yannick counters. I have Omnath Time Stop. I just try and spam Time Stop as much as I can, so I can say Star Platinum the world in Commander. I have Teamer Energy, the precon I just bought, and I actually have to change a bit to make playable. And I have 5-color Okagachi Monarch Enchantress. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 green decks out of my, I think, what, 13 here? Yeah? Half the decks I play are green? I feel like it's proof enough. Anyways. So, chat. I know y'all are wondering. How do I beat these green decks, right? Bounce Man actually is self-hating. Yeah, like actually, I am the green player. So I know, so I more than anyone should know green is broken. Now chat, might be wondering, right? What's the best ways to beat green? Well, for starters, I got all these categories of cards here. This is more so an honorable mention more than anything. But we have to get these out of the way because it's probably the first thing everyone thinks of, and it's all of the strip mines, all your ghost quarters, you know, all your lands that say tap, sack it, destroy a land. All right. You got demolition. You got strip mine, wasteland. All I want is to destroy a non-basic land. Ghost quarter is another one as well, if I can type it out correctly. Global land to get basic back. Demolition field is ghost quarter, but you and that player both get a land, so you're both neutral on lands in play. Dust Bowl, which just got reprinted in the Breaking News subset of cards from Thunder Junction. Pay 3, tap, sack a land, destroy a non-basic land, and they don't get a land back, which is very relevant. There's also Tectonic Edging, me when Tifa, edging. Pay 1 second, destroy non-basic land, but only if that player controls 4 or more lands. We had Volatile False in Ixalan, Cavernous Ixalan. Pay 1, tap, destroy non-basic land. They get a land, but you get a treasure token. Very odd pairing of things there. And finally, we have the red MDFC of Sundering Eruption. 2 in a red, destroy a land, they get a land back. And then creatures out flying can't block this turn. And oh, by the way, it's also just a untapped red land. It's good. But that's the obvious ones, right? So, to get into the more actual, real answers here, I got all these categories of cards here. Of course, there's the obvious one that I call deforestation. Just hate on forests. Just blow up their forests, right? Of course. And of course, the poster child for this category is, you know it, Acid Rain. 3 in a blue, 4 mana, destroy all forests, sorcery. One small problem. It's $100. Oh my god. Absolute pay to win. Nah. Now, this actually is a good answer to green decks, but this answer starts to fall off the more multicolor the green player is, right? If they're in mono green, this destroys them. This just absolutely destroys a mono green player, 100%. There's also Yavimaya, the land that just makes everything forests. One small problem, it makes everything a forest. So it's just a build your own Armageddon at that point. Not very good. This answer gets weaker the more cards they are. So there's... No, they're Gruul. Still hurts them a decent amount. If they're in Bant and they're playing Shu Lane, there's a good chance this only blows up like only 2-3 lands. Gets even worse if they're playing like Lord Windgrace or something, because they can just get the forest back with a -2 of him or whatever, and they just don't care. So, good answer, but falls off the more color heavy the green player is. Next up for deforestation, we have Contamination. I do not own a real copy of Aspirate, unfortunately. I do not know. Contamination, only $4, pretty affordable. 2 black enchantment, 3 mana. Beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this enchantment unless you sacrifice a creature. If a land is tapped for mana, it produces black instead of any other type and amount. This just shuts off all green mana forever. Unfortunately, having to sack a creature every turn is a pretty steep cost, unless you're in like you're playing Travis Scott. And it also makes the entire pod hate you. So that's that's the real issue, I'm being honest. This stops green decks. It also makes the entire pod hate you. So it's a good chance that the other 2 players just won't care and will attack you anyways. But not if they're already playing black. So Contamination goes super hard if there's a green player and everybody else is playing black, and they have like their mana fixing rocks in the field. Next up, we have Infernal Darkness. What's this one do, gang? Only $2, even cheaper than Contamination. 2 black, 4 mana for enchantment. Cumulative upkeep, pay a black and 1 life. Beginning your upkeep, put an age counter on this permanent. Then sacrifice it, unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter on it. So on your first upkeep after playing this, it's 1 black and 1 life. Then 2 black and 2 life, 3 black, 3 life, so on and so forth. If a land is tapped for mana, it produces black instead of any other type. Again, goes nuts in pods where there's 1 green player and everyone else is playing a a black deck, still might make the pod hate you. On the bright side, you don't gotta sack creatures every turn to keep this on the field, which is better or worse depending on what your build is. I mean, if you're playing, you know, aristocrats, having to sack one creature every turn, having to sack one creature every turn might be just really hard for you if you're not playing, like, I don't know, black, white, aristocrats, something. Still a good answer, even if it can't really stick around forever. Like if you play this and it just like robs 3-4 turns from the green player, that's amazing. That already has put the green player in their place. You're fine. You probably don't need to play any other green hate afterwards. If you just like time stop someone but for 3-4 turns of this, that's worth it, I think. That's probably all you need to put them in their place. I do not like the changes the Sagas are doing. I mean, it's not a change. I mean, you mean like the summons? Cryptix, I have an entire package over here on Moxfield. I have 86 cards to go through. Glacial Chasms. Every green player's worst nightmare. Bro, what do you mean? Green players love that card. They're the ones that can fetch Glacial Chasm. Green players love that thing. They don't care. You don't like the summons? I think they're cool. They're alright. They're neat. They're on flavor. Next up, bit of a goofy answer. We have Life Tap. Whenever a forest an opponent controls becomes tapped, you gain 1 life. I mean, this totally could be like 2 mana gain 50 life over the course of the game. In blue of all things, by the way. Also, blue life gain card. Very strange. They're making the Sagas not sack after all Lord abilities are used? I don't think that's true. Where'd you hear that at? This shouldn't be a blue card? Yeah, it shouldn't be, but I mean, it was made back in the alpha, so, you know. You can tell it's a ruled card, yeah. This answer, honestly, unfortunately, I think this might be a Deadbolt Cheeto tier green hate card. Because this doesn't stop the green player from doing their thing of ramping a absurd amount of lands and casting giant unstoppable beaters by turn 5 that are 12/12s and have vigilance, trample, and haste for some reason, and hexproof, and when they hit you, sacrifice a newborn, all that stuff, right? Sagas are being changed that they don't sack if his abilities, such as stop being sagas, such as Ursaring and Blood Moon Synergy. Wow. Well, that's dumb. I don't like that. That is stupid then. I thought you meant like the summons. Because Urza's Saga players needed support. I found it. Starting with the release of Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy, updating the rules. If a Saga has no chapter abilities, it won't be subject to a state-based action that would call... Okay, yeah. Awesome. I guess, you know, Hammer Time wasn't strong enough. Actually, is Hammer Time even a thing anymore? I don't even know. Couldn't tell you. Life Tap. It's fine. It'll be like 2 mana gain 50 life of the course of the game. Maybe that gives you an extra turn to get an answer for the green deck. I don't know. It's an alright answer. What is Hammer Time? Okay, so Hammer Time is a deck where you turn 1 a Ornithopter or Memnite, and then you cast a Sigarda's Aid on turn 1. Whenever an equipment control enters, you may attach it to target you control, and then you just cast Colossus Hammer. So you hit someone for 10 damage on turn 2. So the Mem Knight becomes a 11-11, or the Ornithopter becomes a 10-12. Yeah. And then Saga just fetches Hammer. So you have 8 copies of Hammer in your deck. You run Pure Steel Paladin and Sigarda's Aid. Just cheat on the equip costs. And you get, like, busted 10-10s on turn 2 like a swing. That's the deck. I have no idea if it's still a thing in Modern. I could not tell you. Finally, chat, for our deforestation category of cards, we have Reality Twist. Covered Death Grip yet? No, we have not. Did I not put it on here? I can't imagine I wouldn't have. Maybe I skipped it. Hang on, where? I did not. Wow. Wait, add that to this category. I missed that one. Thank you, Bigskin. First card I said I missed it. I'm sorry. There's also a cardless version of Reality Twist. Is there? What's it called? We have Reality Twist. Really weird card, and probably is bad. Why? Well, let's see. It costs 3 blue mana for its enchantment, and has cumulative upkeep 1 blue. So on your first upkeep, you gotta pay 3 mana. The next one, you gotta pay 6. Third one, you gotta pay 9. If tapped for mana, plains produce red, swamps produce green, mountains produce white, and forests produce black instead of any other type. You know what's stupid? That I'm just not realizing? Singularity. Oh, yeah. You done? No, he's not. Okay. Can y'all hear my dog in the background? Gold guard players just don't care. Yeah, it's true. Actually, I don't. Somewhat. I think it's done. Reality Twist. You can only play this if you are 5 color, because it has the mana symbols in the rules text. Matter of fact, actually, no, don't even play this one. Don't even play this one. If you're in 5 color, you don't, no. Nuh-uh. Never mind. Also, Naked Singularity. How about Armageddon to Farewell? We're gonna get there. Doesn't the rules text not count? No, it does. It's really dumb, but it does. Naked Singularity, 5-minute artifact, upkeep 3. No. So, Extort is reminder text. Extort's ability is reminder text, not rules text. So that's why you can run Extort cards in your mono black decks. This is not the same thing here. It's in the rules text, not the minor text. Literally the same thing, but it also affects mountains to produce blue. Yeah. And islands produce green. Very strange. So, there's not a ton of answers that just turn off forests, right? Or hate out forests, right? Well, what do we do next here? Wait, I think actually. Here, we'll do this actually. Note that bear cards play. Yeah, exactly. So if we can't hit out their forests themselves, perhaps we can find a way to turn off their ability to ramp entirely. Enter the category of library locking. Cultivates, nature's lores, all that shenanigans. We need ways to just turn off the land ramp entirely, right? We do. So, we have 13 cards in library locking. We did, Cryptix. First up, for punishing land ramp, I suppose, or just turning it off entirely. So, library locking is supposed to be a category where you either turn off land ramp entirely, or you are punishing the green player in some way for doing that. So, first up, we have Archivist of Ogma. Y'all know this thing. It's a good draw engine, CDH. 1 to white, 2/2 flash. Whenever the opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So every time someone decides they want to cast a Cultivate, or Nature's Lore, or cast a Creature Tutor, exactly, Court of Calling, all that, Tooth and Nail, all that stuff, you'll gain 1 life and draw a card. Again, doesn't really prevent the green player from doing their thing. You just get some extra advantage. We're gonna get there, chat. I know. I see it. I know. It's all here. Don't worry. Should I grab him? No, we're fine. Okay. So Archivist only just gives you some advantage from opponents searching. Doesn't really stop them. Next up, we have Ashiok Dreamrender. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. It's 3 mana for a literally 5 Planeswalker with no plus. Womp womp tier. But he does -1 to one, mill 4 cards, and then he exiles each opponent's graveyard. So not only does Ashiok turn off Creature Tutors, Land Ramp, you know, your Cultivates, Nature's Lore, all that stuff, he also exiles their graveyard to ensure that if they are running any sort of Crucible of Worlds, Conduit of Worlds, Ramen Excavator, all that stuff, just turns off their graveyard and ensures that if there are any lands in their graveyard, just exiles them. Can also mill them before and then exile the yard again. So you can just remove 4 cards from your deck. How relevant is that? I don't know. Unfortunately, Ashiok is a Dimir card, so you gotta be in blue-black to play him, which does make Ashiok a little restrictive. You can't really run them in a lot of decks, but I do think Ashiok is a good slot in. Honestly, not even just against green, it's just a good card. It's Graveyard Hate and turns off searching decks for 3 mana. It's a very fair rate. Play this card, it's good. Next up, all reliable. Aven Mind Sensor. 2 and a white, flash, which is very relevant. Flying 2/1. If an opponent would search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. What's that? You want to cast Rampant Growth? Well, I sure hope there's a basic in those top 4. The flash is actually extremely relevant here because it acts almost as like a counter spell for tutors and ramp cards, because there's a really good chance that if searching for anything is reduced to search the top 4 cards, or sorry, there's a good chance that reducing search your library to search top 4 just pretty much just turns off the card. But they are in green, so a half deck basic lands. True, but this does weigh the odds heavily in your favor for them to just whiff entirely. This is more black hit green my experience. That's interesting, actually. I mean, it turns off all tutoring. So it turns off green creature tutors and green land ramp. And the flash is very good. It allows you to essentially use it as like a cast spell almost. Also a bird if you're playing Cast Draw Windcrested. By the way, if you're playing Cast Draw, please run this thing. Please run this thing if you're playing Bird Kindred. Please, oh my god, please do that. Please run this if you're playing birds. It's an absolute staple in bird decks. Next up, we have Aven Mind Stencer's cousin, maybe, with Leonin Arbiter. Players in general, not just opponents, can't search libraries, but any player may pay 2 for that player to ignore this effect until end of turn. 2-man versus 3, so it's a little easier to get out. However, it is not asymmetrical. It is symmetrical. It affects everyone, including you. Obviously this is gonna be deck dependent. If you're not in green, it's probably a good indicator to run this card. You know, you're in Boros aggro and you don't really run a lot of equipment tutors. Slot them in. Also a cat if we're playing a Rabo, but you're in green then, so you probably wouldn't play him there. He's a cleric if you're playing Ora, Sky, Clave Hierophant. Absolute Cleric Kindred. No flash. The no flash does suck, but I mean, hey, he is cheaper as recompense. Good card. However, has to be in the right deck to slot in, because he's really not as easy to slot in as you think. Keep in mind, this also affects fetch lands. So if the green player plays, if they're in like 3-color 2 lane and they're running all these like land to fetch lands, this can really screw them over. Next up, we have an answer that no one plays, and I think it's for a good reason. Mindlock Orb. 3 to blue, 4-mana artifact. Players can't search libraries. And that's it. Mono blue decks would love this. Blue white decks would love this. It's just a good stacks piece that hopefully affects the green player the most and doesn't affect the other opponents in a way that makes them want to hate you. Because, like, I think one thing to really be cautious of with these green hate cards is to make sure that your green hate cards only really piss off the green player. Because if your other opponents get mad at you for playing cards that are designed to hate the green decks, they're gonna hate you too. And if your other opponents work together with the green player to stop you, then your green hate isn't really stopping the green deck now, is it? No, it's not. It's killing you, which is not good. It is an artifact, so good artifact decks. You know, you're playing Saheeli, whatever. Saheeli, Urza. I think it might be good in Urza. Then again, you have artifact tours in that deck, so maybe not. I'm not sure. No one plays this. Nobody plays Mindlock Orb, and honestly, I think it's because it's just really hard to slot in most of the time. Because like the mana cost is awkward. Having to tap out for a 4-mana artifact that does nothing can feel bad in a lot of decks. If you can make it slide in perfectly, I think it's good. But of course, I recognize that that's not really super easy to do most of the time. Next up, our boy, Ob Nixilis Unshackled. 6 mana, kind of steep for a hate piece. Good chance the green player already has like 10 lands at this point. But he is a creature, so he might be a good reanimation target. 4 black, 6 mana for a legendary demon creature flying shamble 4/4. Whenever an opponent searches their library, that player sacrifices a creature of their choice and loses 10 life. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Ob Nixilis. If you're just gonna like play him super fairly, as people in chat said already, really good chance that you play this on like turn 6 or whatever, turn 5, and the green player already has like 9 lands. At which point, Ob Nixilis ain't gonna do much for you. Alternatively, if you like turn 1 Entomb, turn 2 reanimate this guy, he goes pretty nuts. he goes. He like Obnixilus, I think, becomes way stronger if you're in a reanimation deck, or maybe even like Shadowborn Apostles. You just reanimate him on turn 2, and now fetch lands make them pay 10 life attack creature or lose 10 life attack creature. Land ramp. You gotta pay for it a lot. Also, sack creatures. The sack creature thing is actually very relevant against elf decks. You know, because all these elf ball players, they just play Llanowar elves and they just don't care about you. But if they search your deck, you gotta be the elf ball players gotta sack elves to search, which is good. That's relevant for you. Will you be doing a stream with like this for the other colors? No, because the other colors aren't worth building to hate out. Like you don't need to be running white hate in your decks. White's fine. You don't need red, black, or blue hate in your decks. Green's the only color that is so strong that you can justifiably, I think, run hate cards against green. I don't really think any other of the colors just really need to be built around like that. And in brackets 1 through 3. Obnixilus is also good in Call of the Vast. True. Again, kind of falls off in mid to late game, but I think can be very good if you get him out early enough through like reanimation. Next up, we have good old Opposition Agent. 2 and a black, 3 mana, flash, human rogue. You control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. While an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you may spend mana as though were a mana of any card to cast them. Once again, 3 mana flash essentially acts as a counterspell for the all the land ramp stuff. You know, cultivate, Kodama's Reach, etc. Can also turn off any future land ramp, and also like steals creatures if they're casting a creature tutor because they exile it and then you can cast it later. Kind of nuts there. Unfortunately, it's a game changer. Oh my god. Oh my god. Honestly, dude, I think the fact that it's game changer actually hurts this thing's ability to perform a lot. Like, you can't even play this in brackets 1 and 2. Can only play it in bracket 3 and above. But it's a very strong card. The flash is very relevant. Essentially acts as a counterspell in black for tutor effects. Notion Thief is a game changer, actually. Womp womp tier. Isn't that so cool? Isn't that so cool? Yeah, dude. It's Notion Thief. It's Notion Thief, Narset, and what is it? Notion Thief, Narset. It's not Hull Breacher. What's the third one? That like shuts off card draw. Bowmasters, yeah. Dude, honestly, the mono blue Narset Walker that has no plus does not feel worth it as a game changer at all. Like, it is not worth a game changer slot to run Narset. It really is not. Next up, chat. We have Psychic Surgery. Bet you haven't heard of this one. 1 blue for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent shuffles their library, you may look at the top 2 cards of that library. You may exile one of those cards and then put the rest on top of that library in any order. This one's weird. I think obviously it scales super well. You know, if they only cast 3 land fetches after this. It's kind of meh. If they're playing fetch lands, they're playing creature tutors. If they're playing Worldly Tutor, they're playing land ramp. They're searching their deck constantly. Surgery ensures that they always draw the worst of their top 2 cards. Also hurts the top deck tutors as well. Worldly Tutor and all them. This thing just hoses those. If an opponent is searching the deck a lot, there's a good chance that, eventually the top 2 cards will have a game-ending threat. So this just exiles that for free forever, and they can't get it back. Unless they're playing, a Rift Sweeper or something. Again, doesn't really stop the green. It does not stop the green player from doing their thing, but I think this is a hate piece that's kind of hard to judge because the impact isn't immediately clear just from reading it, right? You gotta run it for a bit and see how it does. If this exiles 10 cards and you're choosing what 10 cards to exile over time, that's good. Early game, this can deny land drops if they play a fetch land on turn 3. It can remove big bombs that you don't want them casting. It can remove game-ending threats if you get lucky. It just shuts off all to the top tiers as well. It's only 2 mana, and it hates on decks that search a deck a lot. Only 2 mana. I think it's a fine card. Again, doesn't really stop the green player from doing their thing, but could, in the long run of the game, punish them. Alternatively, if you're in colorless and you don't have blue on you, you can just play Psychogenic Probe. 2 mana artifact. Whenever a spell or ability causes a player to shuffle their library, this artifact deals 2 damage to that player. Oh, your fetch lands? Yeah, pay 3 life for those, actually. Oh, your land ramp? Take 2 for that every time. Confound Conundrum is actually not a super consistent way. It actually can help the green player combo sometimes with the right cards, but we'll get to that. It is on my list here. Probe can easily deal like 10 to 20 damage over the course of the game. Unfortunately, green has life gain for some reason. Yeah, because that makes sense. So they could probably just heal the damage back. 2 doesn't feel enough. Again, this is a card that can scale super well. If they only search your deck 2-3 more times after you cast this, not that good. But if they're playing 3, 4, 5 colors, got a lot of fetch lands. They're playing lots of land ramp, lots of tutors and whatnot. They're playing Yisan of all things. Colorless option, every deck can use if they want to. Only 2 mana, might deal 4, 8, 12, 20 damage, depending on the pod. Alternatively, if you're an Izzet, we have River Song. 1 blue-red for a 2/2 legendary human time lord rogue creature. You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top. Okay, I guess. Not sure how good that is, but it's there. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on River Song. Then, River Song deals damage to that player equal to its power. This thing scales much, much better than the Probe does. Because it's 3 damage, then 7 in total, then 12. And then what, 18? Thing scales much better. You do gotta be an Izzet, which is a little more color demanding. Could also be your commander. Like, you can just play, like, blue-red good stuff. Like, you can just play blue-red good stuff and just have River Song in a command zone because you hate green players. You can do that. There is no mathematical differences between drawing from bottom and top. Yeah, like it's like what is it? Grenzo, Dungeon Warden. I guess if you have like scry effects, so you're like, oh, I'm gonna scry top card. Oh, I want that. Put it on the bottom. I'll draw it instead. I don't know how you build around that. If you can, good for you. A River Song. Scale is much better than Pro, but you gotta be in blue-red. If you can make it work, you can make it work. Next up, we have Shadow of Doubt. Blue, black, blue, black. Once again, gotta be able to cast this, or to run it even. Instant. Players can't search libraries this turn. Draw a card. Again, sort of acts as a counterspell to library searching effects, but this one is much, much better because it cantrips. And also turns off any other searching for the rest of a turn, which I suppose the Mind Sensor and the Agent did too. But the green player could remove those if they wanted to go and search again. Shadow of Doubt just says no. No more searching decks this turn. Get out here. Basically just like a really like high value counterspell for tutor effects or land ramp. You know, 2 mana counter cultivate, and you're not down a card, but they are because you drew a card. Just a good tempo play. At that point, why not just Stifle too? Because Stifle doesn't draw a card, chat. Which does matter. I think, in my opinion, it does. Next up, Stranglehold, 3 in a red, 4 mana for enchantment. Your opponents can't search libraries. Period. Also, Stifle doesn't counter cultivates. Shadow Doubt does. Stranglehold, 3 in a red, 4 mana for enchantment. Your opponents can't search libraries. Period. That's it. You're done. No more searching. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whatever. Who cares? That doesn't really stop green decks unless they're running Seed Time, I guess. Okay. I would be careful with enchantments' answers since green is the return edge color. True, I agree. Enchantments are probably one of the easiest things for green to remove, honestly. Funnily enough, but it still is just a hard answer. 4 mana, you can't search in general, period. Soonest this is coming out is turn 3, and then the grand player already has 7 lands. Yep. So what you do, chat, is you power this out with Rite of Flame and Simian Spirit Guide, and you cast this like turn 1. Just a solid answer. It's alright. It is $5 right now. So actually not dirt cheap. And finally, for library locking, we have Widespread Panic. Widespread Panic, 2 in a red enchantment. Whenever a spell or ability causes its controller to shuffle their library, that player puts a card from their hand on top of their library. 30 cents. Bassman, how about a stream where you discuss what red needs commander? Maybe. It's a good idea. So, Widespread Panic. Essentially, every time a green player decides they want to ramp or tutor, they gotta go down a card in their hand. Now, yes, they will draw that card later on, but it's still getting out of their hand and going on top of the library. So they are down a card in terms of tempo reasons. 3 mana, not 4, so it does come down a little earlier. Honestly, I think this one might be way better, assuming the green player doesn't get their third turn before you do. Like, if you lay this before the green player gets to cast their Cultivate, I think it goes up in value. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Again, it does kind of fall from the late game. You know, green players can just cast Rishkar's Expertise and draw 8 cards for 6 mana and then cast a 5-drop for free because, you know, they just do that. And at that point, you know, oh wow, I gotta go down a few cards when I search my deck. Oh no, whatever. I think Panic is good if you run it with other green hate effects. By itself, I don't think it's gonna get the job done, unfortunately. Panic is ass, no question, Skip. Hey man, I got everything. We covered Life Tap earlier too. That card's probably bad, but hey, you can run it. Next up. Green players want to ramp lands? Alright, fine. Let's make them pay for it. With the next category of cards, land tax. Our namesake card being land tax. 1 white for enchantment. Get your upkeep if an opponent controls more lands than you. You may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards. Reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle. So, the land tax category of cards is supposed to essentially punish the green player for ramping lands by helping you reach their level, or punishing them by dealing damage to them, having you draw cards when the green player ramps. This land tax is essentially supposed to... The land tax category is essentially supposed to help you catch up to the green player's level or bring them down to your level. I put balance here, but balance is not legal. Great. Awesome. A land tax, it can be just like 1 mana, draw 3 every turn. 3 lands. And ensures to hit land drops. Okay. Next up. Anka Mishra. Whenever a land enters, they take 2. Nice and Boundless Realms get domed for 20. So, the harder they want to ramp, the more damage you're going to take. By extension, we also have Cemetery Gatekeeper. When this creature enters, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exile card, this creature deals 2 damage to that player. So you exile a fetch land from their graveyard. Now from here on out, whenever they play lands, they take 2 damage. Also a vampire, which is actually a relevant creature type for vampire decks. Y'all vampire players, run him. Also, he has Drip in his showcase frame. Very good. And of course, who can forget our boy of Zozu, the Punisher. 1 red for a legendary Golem Warrior creature, 2/2. Whenever a land enters, Zozu deals 2 damage to that land's controller. One small problem. He costs $20. Okay. Alright, yeah. Yeah, you got it, man. By extension again, for more land damage, we have Tunnel Ignis, right? Yeah. Tunnel Ignis, 1 red for a 2, 1 red for a 2/1. Wow. Tunnel Ignis, 1 red for a 2/1 elemental creature, relevant. Whenever a land enters under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter this battlefield, enter the battlefield under the control of his turn, this creature deals 3 damage to that player. only hurts the green player if they're playing more than one land a turn, but it does more damage per trigger. So instead of two damage, it's 3. So it's a whole lightning bolt worth of damage every time they decide they want to ramp. Also, 90 cents. Fetch lands are an automatic bolt if they crack it same turn. True. They can just not do that, but that still denies them the mana from that land on the turn they play it, which is relevant. We also have Polluted Bonds. Polluted Bonds, I'm not sure how good this is nowadays. 3 black enchantment, 5 mana. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. 5 mana enchantment to hate on the green deck playing lots of lands, but it pings them and gains you life. Could be good in life gain decks, honestly. If you're in black-white life gain, getting life gain triggers on an opponent's turn is good. Also, Anka Mishra, Zozu, all them are symmetrical. Polluted Bonds is asymmetrical, so it doesn't affect you. It actually rewards you by giving you lots of life gain. Get out tier, in my opinion. I kind of feel it. I'd have to play it in today's World Commander, see how good it is. I'm not sure. It might just do some free damage and gain you a lot of life. I'm not sure. We have to see. Finally, for damage pinging effects for playing lands, we have Nightshade Harvester. Nightshade Harvester. 3 and a black, 4 mana for an elf shaman creature. Absolute elf ball. 2/2. Whenever a land and an opponent controls enters, that player loses 1 life. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Only 1 damage. Not that great, but it can become like a 4 mana 10/10 that swings at the green player every turn. Just play Armageddon. No, don't do that. The green player... Well, so Armageddon effects, I think, when it comes to green, it's a case-by-case basis. There's a chance that the green player builds back the fastest if they're running Crucible effects. You know, Crucible Worlds, Conduit Worlds, Excavator, all that stuff. If they're not running those, it hurts them the most, I think, because they've already went and fetched lands out of their deck. So it actually, like, if the green player ramps 15 lands, and every other player only has 7 lands, and someone Armageddons, the green player now has a far lower chance of actually being able to draw lands from their deck post-Armageddon. The issue is if the green player runs anything that recurs lands at all. Harvester. It's a little slow. If it was 3 mana, not 4, like a lot more. But for 4 mana, it's a little meh. Alternatively, you can try and catch up to the green player by just playing catch-up ramp. Of course, you know, there's Loyal Warhound, Knight of the White Orchid, all those things, which, I mean, they ramp always regardless. But there's a chance they turn off later on if the green player isn't ramping a lot. So you can run catch-up ramp that triggers every turn, or at least triggers multiple times, like our K-Rancher's map. Twin White Artifact, 3 mana. When this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic Plains cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more lands than you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Goes absolutely nuts with land tax. Again, map is just here to help you catch up to the green player's level, essentially. It's there to squeeze the gap, so to speak, between you and the green player. Keeper of the Accord does the same thing, essentially. Where he triggers on each opponent's end step, and on that end step, if they have more lands than you, you just go and get a Plains card, put into play tapped. Can also make 1/1 soldiers. Whatever. It's fine. And there's also Scholar of New Horizons, which you have to have counters on permanents you control. He's 1 away for a 1/1 scout that enters with a +1/+1 counter on themselves. Tap, remove a counter from a permanent you control. Search your library for a plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you may put that card on battlefield tapped. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand instead, then shuffle. So it can ramp you, or just be like land draw if you play lots of counters. For our final 2 cards, one of the most infamous hate cards to beat green that many people probably know of is Confounding Conundrum. 1 blue mana for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, draw a card. Hey! Nice and card neutrality. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player had another land enter a battlefield under the control of his turn, they return a land they control to its owner's hand. Now, this card can be good. There's also a chance to just let the green player combo off and win the game right then and there. How, you ask? Let me tell you. So there's this funny little card that green likes to play called Kodama of the Easttree. Right? 4 green, 6 mana. Whenever another permanent you control enters, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser mana value from your hand onto the battlefield. Now, that by itself, you think, okay, who cares? If they play lands, they still gotta return land to their hand. Yes, but they can choose to order the triggers so that Conundrum happens first, and therefore they return their own land to their hand. That they've already played with Kodama. So already Kodama essentially turns off Conundrum from working, right? Here's the real issue. If the green player has anything, and I mean literally anything, that makes tokens for playing lands, such as the iconic Rampaging Baylofts, lands entering will make tokens, which triggers Kodama again. So if an opponent plays Conundrum, and an opponent has a Kodama and literally any land create token effect, the Kodama player just makes infinite tokens. Like, actually. So Kodama and Conundrum by itself, Kodama essentially negates the Conundrum trigger because, or no, yeah? Yeah. Never mind, no. Forget the whole Kodama Conundrum by itself thing. Forget that. That was dumb. That had no purpose. What's really not good is that if you play Conundrum and the green player plays Kodama and any land create token effect, you essentially let the green player combo off. You give the green player a combo win. Because Kodama with Conundrum lets you... Kodama with Conundrum and a land token... A card that makes tokens when lands enter lets you just loop a land drop off the Conundrum forever and makes infinite tokens. So, Conundrum can be good, but you gotta be careful. Because there's a good chance you just give the green player the win. Fish Lady? Oh, Tatyova? Oh, yeah. Because you just draw your deck then until you want to stop? Yeah. So, to put it simply, right? I'll make it simple as possible, right? I play a land. Kodama triggers. I may put a land to play. Now, there's 2 triggers that go on the stack. The Conundrum's return land to hand trigger, and the Balos make token trigger. I let Conundrum happen first. I return land in my hand. And then Baloth triggers. I make a 4/4 beast token. The 4/4 beast token triggers Kodama, allowing me to put a permanent with mana value 0 into play. I put the land to play. Conundrum triggers. Baloth triggers. I tell Conundrum to put a land in my hand. Baloth makes a token, which lets it put a 0 mana permanent into play. I put land to play. So, Conundrum, it can be good, can also just give the green player a free win. So, be careful. Also, Kodama, I think, is like an absolute green staple. Like, if you're playing green, you run Kodama. It's like, dude, Kodama is like a mana doubler that does so much more. Like, you double the amount of mana advantage you get per turn because you cheat out equal mana value permanents. Kodama also lets you just play extra lands a turn. You can cheat things out from tutors. Like, dude, Kodama is like the best mana doubler in the game. It's so good. And it also has partner for some reason. Yep. Awesome. And that's why I play Gillandra and Kodama, chat. I just played 2 mono green partners. What do you need? You don't need. What do you need? What do you need a second color for? You don't need that shit. So yeah, Conundrum. It can be a green hate piece until they play Kodama. Then it just gives them a free win. And finally, for our land task category of cards, we have. Gonna love this one. Sire of Stagnation. 4 blue black, 6 mana for a Eldrazi Devoid creature. 5/7. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library, and you draw 2 cards. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Bounce Man, 6 mana in blue black. The green player already has 12 lands by the time you play this. 2 lands for every turn you went by. And you're right. But if you get this thing down early, dude, oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, you slam this thing down early? Yeah, bro. Green player, go ahead and play some lands. I'll draw 2 cards every time. And oh, by the way, you'll also exile the top 2 cards of your deck every time. Absolute green payoff. Thing is so good, but it falls off pretty hard because, you know, if you are forced to hard cast this on turn 6, oh boy. It also kind of reads better than it actually is because, in theory, when you play this, no one else just plays lands ever because it's a Sire of Stagnation. The board stagnates when he's in the field. Nobody's actually gonna play lands into this. Even the green player. They're too scared. Because, you know why? Not because they care about you drawing 2 cards, but because they care about exiling the top 2 cards of their deck. Because, you know, casual banner players, oh no! Mill's so strong, guys! And it's exile Mill, it's even stronger, it's too broken. Yo, can we ban Sire of Stagnation? It's too powerful. Next up. You know, green players really love to just recur lands in the graveyard, right? Yeah, you know, they play 1 fetch land, and they play a Ramunap Excavator or Crucible of Worlds and whatnot. That's not okay. Moving on to anti-crucible effects here, and AKA just graveyard hate. It's literally just graveyard hate. Leyline of the Void. Leyline of the Void. 2 black enchantment. If this card is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard anywhere, exile it instead. A 0 mana graveyard hate. That's pretty good. It's also 4 mana if you draw it later in the game, which is not great. Alternatively, you can just avoid all of that by playing a Planar Void. Whenever another card is put into a graveyard anywhere, exile that card. Unfortunately, costs $8. Oh my god. Absolute get outs here. Not really. It's good. Alternatively, there's Rest in Peace, of course. The old-fashioned, all reliable Rest in Peace. 1 to white, enters, exile all graveyards. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard anywhere, exile it instead. Or reliable. So one thing I actually do want to say real quick about Graveyard Hate. So Graveyard Hate actually is good against these green decks who want to just loop lands back all the time. Unfortunately, it once again has a chance to just make the entire table mad at you. How dare you exile my graveyard? For this you will suffer. Isn't Tormod's Crypt all reliable? No, that card's bad. That card is terrible Graveyard Hate. I'll exile a green player's graveyard once, and then they'll just play another fetch land with their Excavator out and just keep looping lands once again. No. We had to actually make sure the graveyard stays exiled forever. So stop the green player. So again, be careful playing this because, again, if your anti-green cards make the whole table mad at you and you die because of that, your anti-green cards are not anti-green cards. They're anti-being alive cards. Just gonna put it out, but Bojuka Ball just cause? Yeah. Bojuka Ball is, I mean, look, free land. It's a free land that exiles graveyards. Run it. Because why not? Why wouldn't you? There's also Scavenger Grounds. A land that exiles all graveyards for paying 2 and tapping and sacking it. Alternatively, if you run a desert package, you can exile all graveyards multiple times by sacking a desert that's not the Scavenger Grounds. You could do that. Next up, we have Samurai of the Pale Curtain. Double white for a Fox Samurai creature. A Bushido one, it doesn't matter. If a permanent would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So if any land enters a graveyard ever with this thing out, it just gets exiled. It's a creature, so it's frail, but it's also a white card, and white has ways to get small creatures. So, and by white has ways to get small creatures, I mean it's literally just Recruit of the Guard. It's literally just Recruiter of the Guard. Because it has toughness 2 or less, so you fetch this with Recruiter. It's also a Samurai if you're playing Samurai decks in the big 2025. You do you, I guess. Alternatively, there is Soulless Jailer. 2 colorless artifact creature Phyrexian Golem for a 0/4, nice and Wall of Omens. Permanent cards in graveyards can't enter a battlefield. Players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile. So they can cast creature spells and get around that. Unfortunately, you know, green doesn't really have ways to cast creatures from the yard, so we're okay. Is it artifact, which is relevant for all them blue decks that play artifacts and whatnot. You know, your Ethereum sculptors and foundry inspectors and whatnot, all that stuff, right? Can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards. Absolute underworld breach hate, I guess. Yeah. Can still mutate Broncos, baby? Yeah, you can actually. You actually still can mutate Bronco from the graveyard. Lock the door and eat the key. Jailer, it's a card wish option that every deck can run. I think the value of this card goes way, way up if you're actually in an artifact deck. Because then it's actually helping you. You know, it's triggering your artifact shenanigan stuff. It's triggering your Reckless Fireweavers, your Vidalcan Archmages, all those stuff. All them things. Oh, yeah. Next up, we have Tomic Distinguished Advocates. Gonna be real. Don't think he's good. But you can play if you want to. He is a human. So, if you're playing Human Kindred, might be good there. Double white for a legendary human advisor creature flying 2/3. Lands on the battlefield and land cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. Your opponents can't play land cards from graveyards. Literally just turns off Crucible of Worlds and that's it. Turns off Conduit, turns off Ramunap Excavator, turns off all of them, and that's all he does. He's a flying human, so if you're in Human Kindred, it can make him maybe a big beater with them anthems. You know, Jarina Kudro, 4/3 flyer for 2 mana. Finally, for I called it anti-Crucible, but let's be honest, it's just graveyard hate. We have Wheel of Sun and Moon. Green, white, green, white. Oh my god. I used the green to destroy the green card. Enchantment Aura. Enchant player. Not a curse, by the way. Just so we're clear, not a curse. If a card will be put into enchant player's graveyard anywhere, instead that card is revealed and put on the bottom of that player's library. In some ways, I think this is actually better than stuff like Rest in Peace because it only affects the one green player at your pod. So it only affects them while not making every other player at the pod mad at you. Which I do think matters. Because again, if your anti-green cards make your opponents hate you, all your opponents hate you, it's not anti-green, it's anti-being alive. Unfortunately, you gotta be in green to play it, so kind of defeats the whole purpose there, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It's an enchantment, so it can trigger your synthesis and all your enchantress draw. Beyond that, not really that good. Since you gotta be in green to play it. Alright, cool. I have 3 categories left, actually? Wow. Alright. Moving on to non-basic hate, chat. Because we are so sick of these green players. Freaking playing Field of the Dead, grabbing Masuva to copy Field of the Dead, and then grabbing Thespian Stage to copy the Field of the Dead. And then somehow they get a 4th copy of Field of the Dead through cheating. Yeah, isn't that so cool? First up, we have Anathemancer. Shards of Alara! Absolute Cinema! DCI printing. Just say no one cast Silence. True. Anathomancer, 1 black red for a zombie wizard creature 2/2. When this creature enters, it deals damage to target player equal to a number of non-basic lands that player controls. It has Unearth for 5 black and a red. Target player, so it only hurts the 1 green player, also a wizard. Inala players, here's your tech to beat green decks. You pay 1 to get this twice, you dome someone for 10? And oh, by the way, if you have like Naban out or Harmonic Prodigy, bro, oh my god. Oh. Bro, Harmonic Prodigy and this on an Inala deck? Ooh. Just dome them for 20 for 4 mana. You gotta be in black-red to play it, but I think it's fine. You can run it. Also a zombie if you're playing Rakdos zombies for some reason. Pretty spicy, actually. Next up, we have Archon of Emeria. 2 and a white. 3 mana for an Archon creature. Flying. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Absolute rule of law. And then non-basic lands your opponent's control and are tapped. Just slows green deck down if you're playing lots of non-basics. There's also the Thalia. Thalia Heretic Cathar, 2 and a white for a legendary human soldier creature, first strike, 3/2. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponent's control and are tapped. Once again, slows them down. Very good. Of course, we have the all-time blue staple of Back to Basics. What's that? You're playing non-basic lands? Well, guess what? They don't untap anymore. For a nice and 3 mana. Very good. Bro, if you're in like mono blue, you run this thing out, dude. Oh my god. It's so good. There was also, by extension, Blood Moon, which just makes all non-basics mountains. Magus of the Moon, which is Blood Moon's text on which is just Blood Moon's text on a 2/2 human wizard creature. There is Harbinger of the Seas, which makes all non-basic lands islands. Absolute blue moon. So just a bunch of ways to turn off non-basics. And also, with Modern Horizons 3, we got a colorless option that every single deck can run if they choose to with Winter Moon. Players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during their untap step for 2 mana. You can power this out on turn 2 and just screw over all non-basic players. In any deck, not even just like blue or red or whatever, just in any deck, just throw us in for 2 mana. Also it's an artifact, so good in artifact decks. There's also a pretty interesting card I found in Blood Sun. 2 red enchantment. When Blood Sun enters battlefield, draw a card. All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. So, Field of the Dead just turns into a waste. Thespian Stage turns into just a waste. Vesuva enters with no abilities at all. So it does nothing. This essentially makes all non-basic with like text. Besides that, just like this card essentially just makes all non-basics into regular lands that just don't have basic land types. They just sit there, exactly. Glacial Chasm does nothing. Field of the Dead does nothing. Another thing that matters actually, so Blood Sun will have lands that say they enter tapped, enter untapped. Which, it might help a green player. I don't think it would. I'm not sure why the green player is playing lands that are tapped. They probably have Spelunking or Amulet Vigor anyways. Do they even care? I don't think so. Have you done Flooded Woodlands? No, but we're gonna get there. I do have it on my list here to go through. Bloodstone, I think, is actually a very fair card in the sense that it's a non-basic land hate card that won't make the entire pod want to eat your guts, like zombies. Also cantrips, so you're not down on card when you play it. It's also 34 cents. You can get a foil copy for $1.35 on TCG Player. Not a sponsor of this channel. Next up, we have Burning Earth. 3 in a red, 4 mana for enchantment. Whenever a player taps a non-basic land for mana, Burning Earth deals 1 damage to that player. For 4 mana. Mana barbs, but it only affects non-basics. So if you're playing mono red, or just like basic heavy blue, red, green, red, white, red, black, red, whatever, you run this out and punish them. That's good. That's good. Keeping up with the theme of land pinging here, we have a green card with Primal Order. During each player's upkeep, this enchantment deals damage to that player equal to a number of non-basic lands they control. Basic heavy, Gruul, Selesnya, Simic, Golgari, just run this out. Unfortunately, you're in green, so it kind of defeats the purpose of this whole stream. I used the green to destroy the green card. We have 2 more red cards here for this, though, with Price of Progress. 1 in a red instant. Price of Progress deals damage to each player equal to twice the number of non-basic lands that player controls. 2 mana for 8, 10, 12 damage at instant speed? Breath of Dreams. What is that? I think I said no to that because it was too expensive. But you know what? I actually will add that to the green cards cringe category when we get there. I can't spoil it for chat yet. And you know what, chat? I actually use bathroom real quick. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up. What is it? I know, I did it on purpose. I'm gonna pull up Fat Chocobo. Enjoy. I'll be right back. Like literally not even a minute. I'm back. Alright. So. Price of Progress. Just a really good burn spell to use against non-basic heavy decks. Just does a lot of damage. Also goes nuts in Neheb the Eternal. If you want to run that. Just gain a crap ton of red mana. Very good. And finally, for damage-based, non-basic hate, we have Sunspine Lynx. Bro has a sun on his spine. 2 red for a 5/4 elemental cat creature. Players can't gain life. The damage can't be prevented. When this creature enters, it deals damage to each player equal to a number of non-basic lands that player controls. This is a creature that pings based off of non-basics in play. If you're in a Blink deck, dude, this thing goes nuts. This thing goes crazy. You're in. I mean, I don't know what Blink deck has red in it. I'm not. If you're playing Jeskai, Blink, is it Blink? I don't know what Blink deck you're playing that has red. But if you are, bro, oh my god. Sunspine Lynx goes so hard. You can get the Monster Hunter printing too. The Monster Hunter's Notes printing. Jolly Balloon, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah. Lynx actually would go really hard in Jolly Balloon, man. You're right. You just pay 1 tap Bloom Man to make a copy of the Lynx. Very good. Next up we have a Jund card, actually. Can you believe it? To hate on non-basics with Destructive Flow. Black, red, green. 3 mana for an enchantment. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-basic land of their choice. You're probably running like 32 basics if you're running this in your Jund deck. You have like a mana-based design to just keep getting lots of basics. That way this doesn't affect you. That, or you're just playing Lord Windgrace. It's good, but you gotta be in 3 cards to even play it, so it's not super popular. But it's an option, you can do it. Or Corvold, yeah, Corvold like it, yeah, Corvold. Next up, we have a 6 mana black card, oh boy. Oh boy. With Helldozer. 3 black for a 6/5 zombie giant creature. Bro came from Ravnica, City of Guilds. Pay black and tap. Destroy target land. If that land was non-basic, untap this creature. Goes absolutely insane in Keurig. Outside of that, hopefully you have, you know, the good old Cabal coffers in that mono black deck to just destroy so many lands. So this is a Stone Rain that untaps itself if you just keep blowing up more and more non-basics. Gets job done. Also, it's a zombie. So, you know, you zombie players, you could pick one up for 67 cents. This thing is funny. I agree. He's cool. Is he good? Like, I think you definitely gotta be in a big mana deck. I think, honestly, even if you're in, like, zombies, I'm not really sure that he's super good there. You really do need to be in, like, a big, like, black mana heavy deck. You know, Cabal coffers, and you got ways to 2 Cabal coffers, and you run Urborg to turn the Cabal coffers itself into a swamp, all that stuff, right? You really need your Swamp Matters ramp to make him good, I think. But if you're in a big mana black deck, Helldozer can blow up like 3-4 lands a turn. Next up, we have Quicksilver Fountain. 3 mana for an artifact. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts a flood counter on target non-island land they control of their choice. That land is an island for as long as it has a flood counter on it. At the beginning of each end step, if all lands on a battlefield are islands, remove all flood counters from them. Unfortunately, it's the player chooses what land gets the flood counter. So it can kind of be... I didn't get him. There's a gnat flying around somewhere. This is kind of a weird option. I think Wintermoon probably is just better nowadays. Like there's no reason to run this when you have Wintermoon, I don't think. Like, it's they choose what land gets the flood counter. So it's really a not super efficient way of dealing with it. And also, all the flood counters can get removed once every land in play is an island. So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. I'm not really sure what deck... Maybe if you're in, like, a deck that can move around counters, that way you can move flood counters from your lands onto another player's land might be good. But I think in a world where Wintermoon exists, and Wintermoon is, like, less than $1 versus this thing is $5. Like in a world where Wintermoon is less than $1 and the fountain is $5 here, I feel like 99% of the time, you would just prefer to have Wintermoon over this. I think Tidus is only things you control. So you can't move flood counters from your lands onto another player's lands, I think, right? From a creature you control onto a second target creature you control, yeah. So yeah, it's only creatures and it can't even move stuff to other players' boards. So it's eh. Next up, we have Ruination. Armageddon, but only for non-basics. The 4-mana sorcery, destroy all non-basic lands. I don't think I gotta explain this one. You just don't play lots of basics, and you screw over the green player. And bro, you combine Ruination with a Rest in Peace, bro, or like a Soulless Jailer, or a Black Leyline, dude. Oh my god. Just make sure that the green non-basic spammer just never gets to own good non-basic lands ever again. Goodbye forever. Ruination and the Rest in Peace. Screw you. Get out here. Next up, we have a Aristocrats card here with Shivan Harvest. Oh. 1 red for enchantment. Pay 1 red, sacrifice a creature. Destroy target non-basic land. Yo. Rakdos Aristocrats, Mardu Aristocrats. 2 mana to blow up a land is a really good rate. That's like on the same tier as a Sinkhole, which was actually the most like mana efficient land destruction spell ever printed in black of all things, because that makes sense. Sack a creature, that's fine. You can just, dude. Honestly, even in like, if you're in like Boros tokens or Naya tokens, just throw this in there as a way to just sack 1/1s to blow up lands. That's just good value, man. That's just good value for your rate. Also, 33 cents. It's very cheap. Run this card, please. And finally, for non-basic hate, we have Volcanic Offering, which is more so just an actual removal spell, to be honest. Volcanic Offering. 4 and a red. 5 mana for an instant. Confound Conundrum we went over, Alex. Conundrum essentially... Actually, while it can hate green players out, it also just will give the green player a combo win with Kodama and any land token creator. Or token creator that triggers on lands entering, rather. Volcanic Offering. 4 and a red. 5 mana for an instant. Destroy target non-basic land you don't control, and target non-basic land of an opponent's choice you don't control. So, destroys 2 non-basics for 5 mana at instant speed that you don't control. And then, Volcanic Offering deals 7 damage to target creature you don't control, and 7 damage to target creature of an opponent's choice you don't control. My nose is itchy. A 5 mana instant speed 4 for 1. That's a solid rate, I think. Blows up 2 non-basics, so it gets that green player back 2 mana. And also kills 2 fairly big green creatures. It can kill their commander. 5 mana, blow up 2 of their lands and kill a commander. And can kill their freaking Ramunap Excavators. They have one, so you can't get it back. But chat, you know what? Sometimes blowing up lands just isn't enough. And to be honest, it kind of isn't enough most of the time nowadays. Like, all these land destruction cards, you got a combo with Graveyard Hate to ensure the green player doesn't just recur their lands again. Like, oh yeah, I'll Volcanic Offering them, and then they just Crucible of Worlds and get it back, or World Shaper and get it back, or Reclamation. All these just stupid land recursion spells, right? So sometimes destroying lands isn't enough. We need targeted land exile. First up, we have Ashen Rider. 4 white, white, black, black, 8 mana. Extortion. For an Archon creature flying 5/5. I don't like that stat line. When this creature enters or dies, exile target permanent. Man, I really hope you are in Blink or you're reanimating this. Cause if you're just playing this in an Orzhov deck, oh, that's rough. Oh, that's rough. That is so rough. It does exile lands, but it's at 8 mana, which is extortion. You may as well just cast Ulamog at that point, yeah. Speaking of which, he actually is on this list! Oh god, Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. 10 mana for a 10/10 legendary Eldrazi creature. When you cast this spell, it's a cast trigger, they can't respond to it. Exile 2 target permanents, indestructible. Whenever Ulamog attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. This does not matter. You don't need this. What matters is this. 10 mana for a 10/10. When you cast him, exile 2 lands. I'm gonna start slam dunking this in all my decks to deal these green decks, bro. I'm so sick of these Field of the Deads, bro. Just fucking not leaving the game. Get out. I don't want to see these things ever again. Bounceman is grasping at straws at this point. Oh, bro, you know what's funny? There really isn't any good, like, on-rate land exile. It's all, like, super exorbitantly expensive. It's all, like, not good in terms of mana rates. Next up, get this one, chat. We have Desecrate Reality. 7 mana instant. For each opponent, exile up to one target permanent that player controls with an even mana value. 0 is even. Adamant. If at least 3 colorless mana was spent to cast this spell, return a permanent card with an odd mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. It is a 3-for-1 at least at instant speed that exiles lands. But if you don't want to exile lands, there's a chance it can't hit the things you want to hit. But if you have enough colorless sources, it can also be recursion for any permanent with an odd mana value. I think if you can't get the adamant on this card, don't run it. It's not worth it at that point. But if you can, I think it's good. It can be a 7-mana 4-for-1 that's also recursion to the field action, not just your hand. It's reanimation for any odd mana value permanent. It's good. So this can be 7-mana, exile 1 land the green player has, exile 2 things the other players have, and then you just get 1 thing back. Wish it didn't cost 7. By the time you can cast these spells, wouldn't you want to get rid of the things the green player used all that mana? Yes! But this is designed to beat out all these 9 basic lands. The Glacial Chasms, the Field of the Deads, ugh. So what you do, Chad, is you play, like... Oh! So what you do, Chad, right? Is you use the previous aforementioned land tax category of cards to ramp up to the green player, so that way you can cast your Ulamog faster, and cast your Ashen Rider faster, and cast your Desecrate Reality faster. That's what you do. You use white catch-up ramp to reach the green player, and then knock them back down on lands. That's the move. That's the tech, bro. Next, while we're talking 7-drops here, we have Karn Liberated. 7-mana Planeswalker. 6 loyalty. +4, target player exiles 1 card from their hand. -3, exile target land. -3. -3, exile target land. -14, don't do that. Don't do this. You can restart the game if you need to. Just say, screw you, green player. You get nothing. The green players are just sitting in chat laughing, knowing they are completely safe. Yeah! Because Wizards refuses to print actually good land exile. Ugin, Eye of the Storms? Ugin can't hit lands, right? That's one of more colors. Yeah, no, we can't hit lands with this. Karn can just come down and exile lands for 7 mana and also a -3. Womp womps here. Next up. Wait! Bro! I forgot this one! We have Mangara of Corondor, chat. 1 white for a 1/1 legendary human wizard creature. Tap, exile Mangara, and target permanent. Now, he does have to stick for a whole turn to use him. But this can be 3 mana, exile a land. That's good! That's actually a good rate, believe it or not, and is actually the only good rate on this freaking category of cards, exile lands. Going back to 7-drops here, we have World Breaker. 6 in a green. I use the green to destroy the green card. Gas trigger. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. Pay 2 colorless. Sack a land. Get it back from your graveyard. Okay. Yeah, man, you got it. This stream should be called Bad Land Hate and Sniffing Copium. Yeah? Look, man, the other stuff is good. It's just the land exile that's not great. Next up, of course, another 7-drop. Scour from Existence. 7-mana instant. Exile target permanent. You should probably just play Desecrate Reality if you're gonna run an instant that's designed to exile lands. You should probably just play this. That's more value for your more bang for your buck, as per se. I guess you could argue that this is better in a way because it only makes the green player hate you and doesn't make your opponents also hate you. Reality also can be recursion though, as well as land removal. So, next up, oh look, more Eldrazi cards. Grip of Desolation, 4 black instant, devoid, exile a target creature and target land. It's 6 mana, exile 2 things. It's 3 mana per target. That's on the same tier as Murder, but Murder is destroy, not exile. So it's like... It's a little better. Is Desecrate Reality better? Probably. Yeah. The art is sick. The art is peak. You can't deny that. Eh. 6 mana, exile 2 things, instant speed. Should probably just play Desecrate Reality if you're gonna run big mana removal spells that are designed to hit lands. Next up, a actually interesting card with Invader Parasite. 3 red for a mosquito creature, insect, Phyrexian insect actually, 5 mana, imprint. When this creature enters, exile target land, forever. 3/2. Whenever a land an opponent controls with the same name as the exile card enters, this creature deals 2 damage to that player. So it can be 5 mana, exile a non-bit. Hello? A $10 super chat from Balthazar. When are we getting Maximum Cockroach? A 1 mana creature that has, until your next turn, whenever an opponent plays a card, gain a food token. Maybe in the next food set, the next food precon for sure. The next food precon for sure, Balthazar. More food support. How about consuming sinkhole? No. I don't know what that... Max C! Yes! That's what we need, bro. We need Max C in Commander. Magmatic Hellkite. What is Magmatic Hellkite? Does it exile lands? No! What is this? When it enters, destroy a non-basic land opponent controls. Did they get a land back? Do they stay neutral? Hell nah! Hell nah! Consuming sinkhole. What is this? Land creature, you fool! You fool! You lied to me. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Invader Parasite. Absolute Boros Blink card. Also, once again, Balthazar, thank you for the $10 donation. I love you. Mwah. If you exile a forest, it can also be a Zosu that only affects a green player. Is that good? I'm not. I don't really know, actually, to be honest. Maybe. It is 5 mana. Maybe if you like Seething Song this thing out early. You're playing Mono Red Storm turn 3 Seething Song into Invader Parasite. Absolute cinema. Lord have mercy, heaven above. Bro, why is Seething Song so expensive? Oh my god! $5 for Seething Song? Yeah, I am seething at that price tag. Invader Parasite? Might be good. Not sure. Test it out. Alternatively, you can play an arguably much worse card with Territory Forge. Printed as a mythic in the big score, chat. What's this thing do? 4 in a red, 5 mana for an artifact. Sick art. It must be good. When this artifact enters, if you cast it, exile target artifact or land. This artifact has all activated abilities of the exile card. Notice how it says activated abilities and not abilities in general. So if you pay 5 mana, right? You pay 5 mana. You exile a Field of the Dead. Does Territory Forge make zombies? No, that'd be stupid. Instead, your Territory Forge can tap to add Carlos. Wow. Nice and Meteorite. Nice and Meteorite, chat. It's good for Maze of Ith, I guess. True, actually. Yeah, I agree. It actually is good against Maze of Ith decks. Why are American prices so bad? I don't know, man. Something tariffs that will totally be good for us. Totally, 100%, guys. I'm so tired of winning, chat. Anyways. What else is there? Oh, yes! Another green card. I use the green to destroy the green card. Sowing Myca Spawn. What's this thing do? 3 in a green, Devoid, Kicker for 1 of Carlos, Eldrazi Fungus. When you cast this spell, search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. When you cast this spell, if it was kicked, exile target land. You know what's funny, chat? This might be the best land exile spell here. You know why? Because it goes and grabs your best land. It's almost like green's OP or something, huh? That's really strange. I'm scared to recommend exile land cards after my blunder. Y'all got this. I said in my message asked my YouTube. Damn. Damn, bro. Absolute moderation. Absolute moderation. So land exile. You have your choice between several different 7-drops or just fucking Ulamog. Like legit, I think Ulamog might actually be a good answer to exile lands. Or you play Mangara of Corondor, who is arguably the only actual reasonable priced answer in terms of mana. Also 19 cents, very affordable. Crumble to dust. What you got, Cryptus? Let me hear you. What you got here? Crumble to dust. 3 in a red, 4 in a for a sorcery. Exile target non-basic land. Okay. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that land and exile them. Okay, so isn't Territory Forge better though? Because Territory Forge at least ramps you, and so you lose. So, okay, Forge costs 5, right? But if you exile a land, it gets the ability to tap for a colorless. So you only lose 4 mana for a turn. It is 4 mana exile, I hear you. But I mean the issue, like, no one plays Stone Rain Commander, right? No one does that. Like the land exile cards need to be flexible enough to justify running. You know, Ashen Rider. 8 mana exile is not good, but it is any permanent. It can also hit things besides just a goofy odd Field of Deads. Notice how I keep saying Field of Dead. It's almost like Field of Dead's broken. Anyways. Our final category of land hate, or green hate, chat. Green cards. Cringe. Our first card, chat. Bereavement. What does this thing do? 1 black for enchantment, 2 mana. Whenever a green creature dies, its controller discards a card. Absolute Avenger of Zendikar counter. Bro, you cast a Wrath of God after a green player casts Avenger, they discard their hand? That's actually good, right? The opposite of Compost, which is a green card, right? Whenever a black card is put into an opponent's graveyard anywhere, you may draw a card. Yeah? Opposite Compost. You are so right, Rosario. Two mana, very affordable. Go is really good. It's probably really good in like Anixia too, right? Because of enchantment. This into Perish or Nature's Ruin. Funny enough, Alex, I actually do have Perish and Nature's Ruin on this list. Not Persig, no. Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. Perish. 2 to black sorcery. Destroy all green creatures. They can't be regen. Absolute troll counter. Absolute anti-troll card. Thrun the Last Troll? What regen, bro? No regen, bro. And then also, Nature's Ruin is the same thing, but printed in Portal. Destroy all green creatures. Again, if you want, I guess if you want 2 copies of Perish in your decks. There's also Death Grip. Black for enchantment. Pay black, counter target green spell. This card is nuts in Yawgmoth. In Kyrich, Son of Yawgmoth. Just pay for life, counter any green spell. Insight is on this list actually, right? Yeah, it is. We'll get there. Our final mono black card to hate on green with. Honestly, Death Grip might be the actual best counter to green, because you just lay this thing down turn 2, and if the green player can't kill it, you just counter their whole deck forever. Also, nuts in Kyrich. Just pay for life, counter a green spell. It's so good. It's so unfair. Finally, for black in this category, we have Putrefaction. Putrefaction, 4 and a black, 5 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a player casts a green or white spell, that player discards a card. 5 mana, eh. The 5 mana is kind of suspect, I ain't gonna lie, chat. The 5 mana is not great. Also, my man's about to get fucking amputated. Oh my god. Ugh. Worst painful quandary? I don't know about that. It only affects the green player, chat. So the whole table doesn't get mad at you. I lied. I actually have one more mono black card in here with Dystopia. Dystopia. 1 black, 3 mana for enchantment. Cumulative upkeep, pay 1 life. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a green or white permanent of their choice. this can like. So okay, so I think Dystopia is only good if you're in life gain, or you have like exsanguinate, gray merchants, all that stuff, right? I think I'm probably not gonna pay the upkeep cost more than 4 times, because then it's 3 mana, pay 10 life to basically edict the green player 4 times for 3 mana over the course of 4 turns. So I think this card is probably bad late game. But bro, you cast this on turn 3 when the green player is casting their commander. Oh my god, so good. So good. Can build an Eminent to the Walker, yeah. Can blink it to reset the upkeep trigger. Lithoform Blight. Withering Gaze. Withering Gaze is in this list. We'll get there. Lithoform Blight. Is this the enchantment that draws like yeah. Lithoform Blight. 1 black for a aura enchantment, enchant land. When it enters battlefield, draw a card. Enchant land loses all land types and abilities and has tap, add colorless, and tap, pay 1 life, add 1 mana color. Maybe. I feel like most people would look at this card and say it's too narrow, right? Because no one, again, nobody even plays Sinkhole Commander. It does draw a card. They keep the land loses all land types. But honestly, dude, like if they're running lots of good non-basic lands, there's a good chance they just have ways to sacrifice lands, and then they can just recur said land through a Crucible of Whirl effect. So I see the vision. I might run it in Enchantress, because then, if this thing draws a card and then you have a Enchantress in the field, you draw 2 cards, maybe 3 cards for 2 mana, or 1 mana even, with like a enchantment cost reducer. I might play it in Enchantress. Beyond that, maybe not. We'll go on to blue cards here, I suppose. Someone said Breath of Dreams earlier. The new Ultima. How's that stop green decks? Oh wait, no. You mean the god. Yeah. This guy. 5 colorless for a god creature flying. Whenever Ultima attacks, put a blight counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and abilities and has tap, add colorless. Whenever you tap a land for colorless, add an additional colorless. I feel like, don't you just play this in Eldrazi decks and that's it? Like, isn't this just a Kozilek card? Like, he has to attack to even get the first blight counter, and he has no haste. I mean, if you're... okay, so I guess in theory, you could be playing, like, Eldrazi, Death and Taxes, add mana base, and be running, like, 10 wastes in your mono white deck. So that way, Ultima actually does ramp you a decent amount. If you're playing some weird, like, hybrid deck where it's like, oh yeah, I'm playing mono white, but I actually run waste because I run all of, like, the good Eldrazi, like, Thought-Knot, Seer, and all them. Maybe? I feel like if you're not going to get a lot of use out of the mana ramp, he's not going to be good. And again, with the whole counter thing, the non-basic land player probably has, like, Zuran Orb or Sylvan Safekeeper or something to sack the land and then get it back through a Crucible effect. Breath of Dreams. What does this thing do? Breath of Dreams. 2 blue for enchantment. Cumulative upkeep 1 blue mana. Green creatures have cumulative upkeep 1. Ooh. Bro. That could actually be a pretty big dampener on green decks. Again, it's a 4 mana blue card with upkeep of 1 blue mana. It is okay. So it is. It's not just they gotta pay 1 for the green creature. It's they gotta pay 1 and then 2 and then 3. So eventually, this thing probably should just wipe the green player's board entirely, assuming you can continue paying the 1 blue mana for the upkeep triggers. My fear is that, well, I'm just questioning if 4 mana is too expensive to counter a green deck with. That's all. And I don't think it is. I think 4 mana is fine. It's more so the upkeep cost I'm worried about. Once again, if you can blink this thing to reset the upkeep trigger, or the age counters rather, it's pretty good. Also, if you have ways to remove counters too, because the age counters are counters on the card. So if you can remove counters, it's pretty good. Next up, we have Hibernation. We have Hibernation, 2 and a blue instant. Return all green permanents to their owner's hands. Not just creatures, permanents. All them freaking green enchantments are gone. Also, it's an instant, which makes this way better, bro. Bro, imagine you cast this on the end of the green player's turn, dude. You just reset their board. Oh my god. That has gotta feel so good. 3-minute instant might even cost less if you're in, like, Spellslinger. You know, you got your Goblin Electromancers, your Brawls out and whatnot. There's a really good above rate Wrath. Or, I guess, Bounce Wrath. Bounce Wipe. We have Insight, as somebody previously mentioned in chat. Yeah, I'll find it, though. We have Insight, as someone in chat mentioned. Enchantment, 2 and a blue. Whenever an opponent casts a green spell, I draw a card. Again, as I mentioned before, as I mentioned with some of these previous cards, this is a green hate card that doesn't actually stop the green player from doing green shenanigans. Like, they can still ramp a crap ton of lands. You just get some free card draw out of a deal. Which, I mean, you'll draw a lot of cards, because green players do cast lots of spells, because, you know, they ramp lots of lands, they're going to have more spells to cast, that's just logic. But you can draw into the pieces, maybe. True, that is true, actually. Insight could potentially help you draw into some more, some firmer answers to these green decks. These goofy green decks, man, oh my god. Finally, for our blue card, we have Withering Gaze. Two and a blue sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You draw a card for each forest and green card in it. I think this card is only good if it's used against a mono green player. Like, the minute they have a splash of any other color in their deck, dude, like, mono green, it's 3 mana draw like 10. It's busted then. If they're in, like, green-white tokens or green-blue Simic, there's a chance this thing goes from 3 mana draw 10 to 3 mana draw 4, 3, maybe even like 3 or 2 if they're in, like, 3 colors. I think it falls off hard once it's not targeting a mono green player. And once again, doesn't actually stop the green player from doing their things, but might help you draw into some more firm answers for the green player. Finally, another actually muscular card in here. We have Flooded Woodlands. Flooded Woodlands, 2 blue black, 4 mana for enchantment. Green creatures can't attack unless their controller sacrifices the land of their choice for each green creature they control that's attacking. So honestly, I read this, I think, yesterday for the first time. I thought it was good. reading it now, I question if the green deck even cares, and B, if the green deck doesn't just, like, build their board for a one-turn kill, and then they just remove the Flooded Woodlands. Or matter of fact, if they have a one-turn kill, they might not even need to remove the Flooded Woodlands. Like, they just sit there and don't attack, wait until they have 120 power, or just cast Critter Hoof and go for the game-ending swing. Like, it's kind of just like a pillow fort effect for the entire board. Also, the green creatures can still block. The creatures can still block too, so it's like, I see the vision. I think it's good to the, I don't know, man. Because here's the thing, right? If they have a Crucible effect out, a way to recur lands in the graveyard, they might actually purposefully attack to purposefully sacrifice lands in order to get more landfall triggers. Which, in that case, you're actually feeding them. Which is not good. Also an enchantment, so it's arguably the easiest card type for green decks to remove. Yeah. You gotta be in blue-black to run it too. Yeah, like, honestly, just play, like... I'd rather play, like... Probably even just, like... Psychic Surgery. Or something. Because, like, I think there's a lot of potential for Woodlands to just backfire. Like, super hard. I think there's a very big chance you cast this and it just does nothing. Because they just sit there and be like, okay, I'll just wait until I have enough power to one-turn kill. Like, okay, all it does is stop the creature from attacking. That's it. They can't, like, not play green spells. They just can't attack. At which point they just build their board until they can kill you all in one turn. At which point they don't care about sacking lands. Or even worse, they actually intentionally swing to sack lands to get even more landfall triggers because there's no lands in their hand. Like, I see the vision, but I think there's too much potential for it to backfire. Moving on to our 2 white cards here. We have, get this, Circle of Protection green. I swear to God, chat. 1 white for enchantment. Pay 1 generic. The next time a green source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. Again, falls off really hard the minute they're playing not mono green. But it's a thing they can do, right? Yeah. You can do it. You can run it. Doesn't completely save from Procure, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you can pay 1 to prevent the hoof from doing damage. Honestly, the real issue is the fact that you need to have enough mana to prevent damage from their entire board state, which, if they have an Avenger in the field, you might not be able to have 10 mana to spend into this to prevent damage from 10 different 7-8 plant tokens. So there's that issue. But it can prevent damage early game. I'll be honest, this one's probably not great. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Can't wait to hold 8 mana open so I can fog the elf balls that can return. Absolute mana efficiency. Our final white card for the green cards cringe category. Hear me out, chat. Hear me out, right? Hear me out. Mirran Crusader. 1 white for a human knight creature. Double strike. Protection from black from green. I think this thing is only good if you're in a equipment deck. Bro, you throw a Colossus Hammer on this thing, dude? Oh my god. Green player's just dead. Green player's just fucking dead, dude. Just throw Colossus Hammer on this thing, make it a 12-12 with double strike. Has pro black, pro green. They can't block it at all. And you just kill him. You just kill him. Only good if you're in, like, equipment, or I guess even, like, auras, if you want to be that guy. And then you just freaking just yeah. And that's it. You just kill him. Just kill a green player. And chat, that is every card I found that I think can be used to stop green decks. Do you think auras are just worse equipments? I don't think they're... Yes and no. Yes, because you can't... Like, if equipped creatures die, you keep the equipment. If aura enchanted creatures die, you lose the auras. Minus, like, triumphant reckoning and all that. But there is way more draw engines for casting auras, so auras go a lot harder if you're playing Boggles. There is that. Bro, I swear to God, dude, they gotta print like Celestia white green 1 mana legend that just has hexproof, and that's it. Bro, we need a 2-color 1 mana legendary Boggle. We need that. We need that so bad. That'd be so sick. I'm gonna post my Moxfield package for all these cards in the chat here. Here you go, chat. Subscribe to that package if you want. I'll also post it on my community tab real quick. That would not be OP, bro. We have Light Paws. Like anything a hexproof legendary Boggle could do, I think Light Paws would just do better. Bro, I have never heard of Boggles before. What the fuck is that? Oh, yeah, dude. You don't know Boggles? Boggles are awesome. Look at him. 1/1 hexproof. Bro, honestly, just make him legendary. Just make him legendary, honestly, and we're chill. Can I rule 0 separated Boggles like Commander, bro? Can I do that, please? It'd be so peak. Alright, chat. That's about everything I got. Unless y'all got some more recommendations to go over. I have 86 cards in that Moxfield package, so I doubt I missed anything, but I'm here. If y'all got anything, hit me up right now. Once again, to go to the categories here, we have anti-crucible effects, aka graveyard hate. We have deforestation, which is just turn off the forests or out-hate the forests. Cards that punish just the green player playing green cards, and green cards cringe. Land tax that, funny enough, taxes the green player playing lands, either through damaging them or helping you catch up to them. Library locking, that is to say library searching hate cards, like even Mind Sensor and whatnot. Non-basic hate. I don't gotta explain that one. Ruination, etc. And we have targeted land exile. Leshrak's Sigil. What is this? What the hell? What is this art? Black enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a green spell, you may pay black. If you do, look at that player's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card. So, whenever an opponent casts a green spell, you may pay 2 black to Thoughtseize them. Maybe. Useless if they have no more cards in hand. Have you played against a green deck ever? Useless if they have no more cards in hand. Have you played against a green deck ever? Nice and Lifestream's blessing, because they needed this. Draw 6 mana, draw 12 cards, gain 24 life for 5 mana. Yeah, man. I mean, I have my Galladon Kodama deck here. Like this thing is stupid. This deck is so dumb. And you know, dude, honestly, it was crazy that this deck like doesn't even this deck isn't even super optimized. Like I could absolutely run Great Henge in here and it'd be nuts, but I don't have one in this deck because I don't need one. Because mono green is just that broken. I also don't own a Great Henge and don't want to spend $50 to get one if I'm being honest, but but that's besides the point. Oh, correction, $70 for Great Henge. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't need that shit. It's not needed. Like, dude, it goes even harder in Kodama because for 2 mana you get a 9-drop. So Kodama lets you cheat out a 9-drop just for 2 mana, essentially 0, because it adds the 2 mana back immediately. So nuts, dude. God, such a good card. What is the rest of the cycle of Henge actually? Oh, funny you ask. Legendary artifact and Eldraine. So we have Embercleave, 4 red flash, costs 1 less to cast for each attack creature you control. When it enters, attach it to a creature you control. The equipped creature is +1/+1 and has double strike and trample, equipped 3. There's the Cauldron of Eternity, 10 black, costs 2 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of your library. 2 to black, tap, pay 2 life. Return target creature card from your yards of battlefield. Activate only sorcery. I should actually run this more. It's only $1 for this. That's actually pretty good. The Circle of Loyalty, 4 white. Affinity for Knights. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, make a 2/2 Vigilance Knight token. Pay 4, tap, make a 2/2 Knight token of Vigilance. Absolute trash. Get out tier. I like how every other color got some busted freaking like color pushing effect, and white gets Night Tribal or Night Kindred rather. And there's blue, the Magic Mirror, 6 blue, 9 mana. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and source card in your graveyard. You have no max hand size. During your upkeep, put a knowledge counter on Magic Mirror, then draw a card for each knowledge counter on the Magic Mirror. So it's a Phyrexian Arena that scales really well in mono blue. Good in Dijon for loyalty? True, actually. Circle Loyalty actually would go super hard in Dijon. Because, you know, you're playing Night Kindred then. Yeah, exactly. Alright, gang. Unless anybody has some more suggestions for Green Hate, rather. Oh, you know what? I'll actually like go ahead and add Leshrac Sigil to the Weed Killer package. Just cause. I don't think it's that good, but I mean, neither is fucking Ulamog. God. Change tags. Green cards cringe. With that out of the way, chat, thank you all so much tuning in. If you want to support me directly, you can consider becoming a member of a channel. For only $2 a month, you'll get access to exclusive emotes such as Loot James and access to our member exclusive Discord server, a exclusive hangout space for you and your fellow Bounce Man members. We talk Magic on there, and I actually am trying to get some like Commander VC games going on through like either through Spell Table, or if people can't do that, we can do like we can figure something out if we need to. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed. Next Friday, bro, we're gonna have like a fucking 8-hour tier list stream for Final Fantasy, because that set has 163 commanders. So I'm gonna sell my soul to go through my own version of fucking Dante's Inferno to do the Final Fantasy tier list. Is it gonna suck? Absolutely. But hey, we'll suffer together. We can rank the commanders together, chat. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much tuning in. Over 160 commanders, one stream, ass set. I'm gonna be so devastated at that, dude. It'll probably be like 10 a.m. EST on Friday. We'll see what happens, gang. I love y'all. Y'all do make these streams fun. I mean, y'all coming out and hanging out with me is the reason I do these. So I always appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank y'all tuning in. And I'll see y'all next time.